Good evening class. Since naputol man ta pag last meeting, so aman ta katiwas, so mauna ni ang continuation. But before ko mo proceed asa ta to last ni Honong, let's have a recap first for you to be able to recall what we had discussed last meeting. So what we had discussed last meeting? Yes, so it's all about why should we teach grammar. So we talk first about attitudes. So sama sa akong gingon pag last meeting, di ba? Na yung mga tao nga ni disagree o ni agree nga why we should teach grammar. So, attitudes to grammar. Many language authorities have different attitudes to grammar. According to Elise, grammar does not need to be taught since it contributes little to the acquisition of communication competence in a second language. But for Michael Lewis, he said grammar teaching is essential in language teaching field. English language learners who have been lacking in grammar rules instruction can neither use English language accurately to make a complete sentence nor speak English language fluently and accuracy. White also claims that grammatical features cannot be acquired simply by exposing learners to comprehensible input, and thus formal instruction is necessary. Let's now proceed to necessity. Grammar and vocabulary is the base of English language. Grammatical competence is one of communicative competence, and communicative competence involves knowing how to use the grammar and vocabulary of the language to achieve communicative goals. So, grammar teaching is necessary. Diba na agibotang diri nga grammar and vocabulary is the base of English language. Sumao nahitabo sa first video nga daghan kaayo grammatical errors. Nay ubang spelling nga dili mao and dili na fit sa message. So that is why it is necessary jud i-teach ang grammar for us to be able to deliver our message clearly, appropriately, and can be understood. So next is essential, not acquired naturally, collection of meaningful forms, and not a collection of arbitrary rules which under necessity. So let's talk first the essential. So why teaching grammar is essential? According to the dictionary definition, there are at least two senses of the word grammar. First, a study or science of rules for the combination of words into sentences or syntax, and the formations of words or morphology. Second is book containing the rules of grammar of a language. Grammar as a system of rules which describe the formation of a language sentences. Grammar is not a simple thing. Example is naglutog omelet, diba? Na-discuss ko ni. The process and the product are clearly two quite different things. Ang mga ingredients is mauni ang mga words. Example, the subject, verb, and the object. And ang mga steps or process sa pagluto aning omelet is mauni ang grammar. Ug maluto ning omelet is mauna ni ang finished product or the sentence. If masayop gani kag follow sa steps, dakong possibility ang outcome sa product is palpak or di magkadimao. So same sa grammar, if wa gani ni follow sa rules or wa nagkadimao ang structure or formation sa words, then the sentence itself is confusing and will lead into misconception or misunderstanding. The teacher will cut the language into lots of little pieces called grammar, so that the learner will be able to reassemble them in real communication. So grammar ought to be taught. So let's now proceed to not acquired naturally. Grammar is not acquired naturally. It needs to be taught. Grammar instruction can help learners acquire grammar they would not have learned on their own, and also to improve learners' accuracy. Learners who receive no instruction seem to be at risk of fossilizing sooner than those who do receive instruction. So in short, we need to receive grammar instruction for us to be able to avoid fossilizing. So what is fossilization? Fossilization refers to the process in which Incorrect language becomes a habit and cannot easily be corrected. Let's now move on to collection of meaningful forms. Grammar is a collection of meaningful forms. It embodies the three dimensions of form, or structure, meanings or semantic, and use, which is the pragmatic conditions. These dimensions are interdependent. A change in one results change in another. To use the English passive voice accurately, meaningfully, and appropriately, the second language students must master all three dimensions. So what is passive voice? Passive voice is you don't want to say who or what did the action. You don't know who did the action. The object is the most important part of the sentence. How to make a passive voice in a sentence? These are the following steps for you to be able to create or make a passive voice in a sentence. First step, identify the subject, the verb, and the object. Second, move the object to become the new subject of the sentence. Third, what is the verb tense in the active sentence? Fourth, conjugate the verb be. Fifth, add the past participle of the main verb after be. And lastly, subject of the active sentence. So for example, the children ate the cake. This is active voice. So if we make it into passive voice, mahimo na ni siyang the cake was eaten by the children. Sa active voice, di ba ang subject is the children, then the verb is ate, and the object is the cake. So pag abot na sa passive voice, ang object nato sa active voice maunay mahimong the new subject, which is the cake. Next is matud pa sa steps, conjugate the verb be. So mauni ang was, kay singular man. After is add the past participle of the main verb be. So ang ate mahimo ng eaten. Next is if mag-passive voice ganita, na na always present ang by. So mauna siya sunod sa eaten. After is ibutang na nato ang subject sa active voice. So makinawitan na siya ug mauna ni ang sentence sa passive voice. The cake was eaten by the children. I hope nakasabot ra mo class. Next to collection of meaningful forms is not a collection of arbitrary rules. So grammar is not a collection of arbitrary rules. When we say arbitrary rules, it explains decisions made or actions taken that are not necessarily based on established facts, but instead based in large part on opinions. So in short, arbitrary is buot-buot ra or iya-iyaharang rules, walay gibasihan. That is why grammar is not a collection of arbitrary rules. As we all know, grammar is a system of rules which describe the formation of a language sentences. That is why we have these three dimensions, the form, meaning, and its use. So, diri ra dapita ang ato ang recap kay diri man tanihunong pag last meeting. So now let's proceed to cases for grammar. There are two cases, for grammar and the other against grammar. Related rin siya sa attitudes. There are people ni agree nga we should teach grammar, and there are also people who disagree in this idea. Usa nato si Elise, sa ni disagree, and sa ni agree kay si Mikey Lewis and White. Now let's go to sentence making machine, advanced organizer, and the rule of law, which under the cases for grammar. First, grammar is the sentence-making machine. Grammar is a kind of sentence-making machine. Part of process of language learning must be what is sometimes called item learning. That is the memorization of individual items such as words and phrases. Grammar, after all, is a description of the regularities in a language, and the knowledge of these regularities provides the learner with the means to generate a potentially enormous number of original sentences. For example, sa MEPSA, Di ba ang MEPSA is dira gihimo ang usa ka product for export. So, mo-relate ra ni nato siya sa grammar. So, grammar is the sentence making machine. Correct use of grammar makakam up tag correct and appropriate sentences. So, sama ra sad na ug mo-follow lang ta saktong process sa product, makakam up jud tag good quality. Og in case gani sa pag-process nato sa product kay naay nakalimtan og butang or wa nagkadimao ang pag-process kay naguna sa kinawian, there's a big possibility na ma-NG ang product. So unsa maning NG? Means ana not good, reject, di na pwede i-export. So same sa grammar og di na gani magkadimao sa paghimutang sa words na ay nakalimtan og butang or dili sakto ang word nga gibutang para ma-fit sa kana nga sentence, like sa katong first video nga akong gipakita sa inyo nga ingon pa ninyo daghan og grammatical errors, so the outcome which is the sentence dili na masabtan ug dili na accurate. Wala na deliver og tarong ang message, so ang makabasa ato ma-confuse na, mahugnag walay bili ang sentence sama sa product nga ma-engine di na mapuslan. For example ha, the ball kick John. Unsa man na, sakto or dili? So dili. Why man? Dili siya sakto kay na ungrammatical naman. Di ba ang ball na nooy ni kick ni John sakto di ay na? Di ba dili? So, unsa may sakto? Okay. John kicked the ball. John is the subject, kick is the verb, and the ball is the object. Ang kick nga spell ara ha is K-I-C-K-E-D. Past tense sa kick. So, okay class, good job. You're all correct. I hope nasabtan na rin ninyo. Now, let's move on to advanced organizer. So, grammar is the advanced organizer. Grammar instruction can be an advanced organizer to everyone who aspires to acquire a target language. However, the effect or the benefit given by grammar instruction is not immediately felt, utilized, or applied in real-life setting. Other people tend to question the use of grammar in a natural interaction, which is somehow different from instruction received on classes. The argument can be best proven in the experience of the researcher Richard Schmidt. He was once a learner of Portuguese language in Brazil. Initially, he had enrolled in formal language classes which highly emphasized grammar. However, the grammar instruction he had received was insufficient to turn him into a fluent Portuguese speaker. He just left these classes to travel in Brazil. There, he was surprised as he noticed that certain features of talk or certain grammatical items which made him realize the importance of his previous grammar instruction. It is important for a learner to keenly observe or notice a certain feature of talk in day-to-day communication in order to bridge the gap between grammar instruction and real-life application. So that is why grammar called an advanced organizer, because nagsilbi na siyang outline sa usa ka learner sa iyang pag-learn sa language, like ni Richard nga nakahelp pod sa iya nga wa niya damha. Sama ra jud nas inyong relasyon, nibiya ka kay wa nakaganahi pero niabot ang adlaw nga nakarealize ka nga importante di ay siya sa imuha. Diha lang nimo na realize pag nipalayo na ka. Nakuha ra ba class? I hope na-gets ra ninyo. Now, let's go to the role of law. Grammar teaching is the role of law. Grammar is a system of learnable rules. It lends itself to a view of teaching and learning known as transmission. A transmission view sees that role of education as the transfer of a body of knowledge from those that have the knowledge to those that do not. Such a view is typically associated with a kind of institutionalized learning where the rules, order, and discipline are highly valued. Such students may have enrolled in language class specifically to ensure that the learning experience is made more efficient and systematic. To sum up, we need to teach grammar because grammar is the base of English language. Diba? Og sa sakayan pa og walay base ang sakayan, diba? Unlod padulngan. So dili na ka-function. So sama sa English language og wala ang grammar, dili siya ma-function. Grammar is not acquired naturally. It needs to be instructed. It operates at the sentence level. Governs the syntax or word orders that are permissible in the language. If one hopes to use English language accurately and fluently, it is necessary for him to receive grammar rules instruction. In short, grammar teaching is necessary in English language teaching. Nakuha ra? So, mag-exercise ta to check sa inyong understanding. Okay, I have prepared here 3 questions. All you need to do is to choose if grammatically correct ba siya or grammatically incorrect. So, let's start. Number 1. Is it grammatically correct or incorrect? Okay, the answer is grammatically incorrect. Why man? Alright, grammatically incorrect ang sentence kay wa man siguro moingon no nga how much is your age? Sakto day na. Naamoy nadunggan ni ingon ana. Oh, di ba? Wala. So unsa man di ay correct ani? Okay, ang correct ani nga sentence is how old are you? So kuha ra. So let's now move on to number 2. Is it grammatically correct or incorrect? Okay, very good, oy. The answer is grammatically incorrect. Unsa day nakasayop? Okay, ang nakasayop is taller, nag-show na nag-comparison. So, understandable na. Pero, ang nakaapan, gibutangan pa jud og compared to. Diba, unsa ganito ang comparative of adjectives? Diba, positive, comparative, og superlative. So, ug moingon kag taller, so automatically naa na siya than nga sunod nga partner kay nag-compare man. So, ang correct answer ana is okay. Ang correct answer is she is taller than me. Kuha ra? So, let's now move on to number 3. So, what do you think is the answer man? Is it grammatically correct or incorrect? Okay. The answer is grammatically correct. Why man na grammatically correct? Alright, Jane is the subject and Jane is singular, so the verb is also singular, which is correct. So Jane drinks water is grammatically correct. Nagets ra? I hope you learned something from my discussion. So before I will end our discussion, I will leave you these quotes. Dungan ta ninyo basa. Never stop dreaming. Never stop believing. Never give up. Never stop trying. And never stop learning. Quotes na siya ni Roy Bennett. Thank you, class. And bye, maorato.